Let's talk about low versus high blood sugar. This is going to be a cool video because today we're going to be talking about low versus high blood sugar, two of the most, let's just say, concerning things that you're going to experience probably if you have diabetes. Now we're going to be talking about what's the difference and why it's not probably dangerous. Why it's probably dangerous. Because not always will low or high blood sugar lead to dangerous things, but they can if untreated, as well as they can cause symptoms that aren't really too fun for them to cause. Low blood sugar. I meant low blood pressure. I meant low blood sugar, not pressure. Low blood, just annoy that. Just imagine, say, low blood sugar. What is it? Low blood sugar, the body's main energy source. So it's the main energy source. It's what gives us energy. Low blood sugar, the body's main energy source. Blood sugar levels change often during the day. So it only changes often during the day and not night. When they drop below 70 mg DL, this is called having low blood sugar. At this level, you need to take action. So you need to get sugar. You most likely will have to have something that has sugar in it, and either take your medications or have low blood sugar. You have to basically take sugar. You gotta take sugar to increase your sugar level, so you don't have low sugar. Not necessarily that might be it. I'm not really someone who researches on low blood sugar, but I am someone who researches on everything else, but not this because I don't have stuff to worry about this. So low blood sugar will basically kill you if it's not, taken care of. So you need to take action. Basically, if you don't take action at this time, the rate of complications goes up longer and longer, and the symptoms start to get stronger and stronger the more you go without taking your meds. So yeah, the longer you go without actually treating it. So yeah. So you need to take action. The symptoms of low blood sugar, it is fast heartbeat, which could be tachycardia, which is basically high heartbeat of 150 beats per minute, shaking, sweating, nervousness or anxiety, irritability or confusion, dizziness, and hunger. So hunger can be low blood sugar because you're basically hungry for foods that have sweet in them, because then it can increase your blood sugar level. Now dizziness is basically where your head's spinning. Irritability means you get mad. So if you get mad, over the littlest things, or you just get mad, all the time. There's something to stop you from getting mad. Confusion, which means you can't think clearly, you don't know what you're at, you don't know anything really. Nervousness, which means you're nervous about something, you're kind of worried about something. Anxiety, which we all know what that is. Sweating, shaking, and fast heartbeat. Low blood sugar complications: blurred vision, difficulty concentrating, confused thinking, slurred speech, numbness, and drowsiness. Blood glucose stays low for too long, starving the brain of glucose, and may lead to seizures, coma, and very rarely death. So seizures is a very, very dangerous thing about low blood sugar. It can kill you. I don't want people thinking that even though they know how to treat it, that it might go untreated or undiagnosed, or kind of go under the radar and not see anything. If you have the symptoms but you don't think you have it still, you still need to treat it like as if you did have it. Because even though you've been diagnosed, and saying you don't have it even though you've been diagnosed, that's kind of stupid. If you've been diagnosed, you don't think you have it, but you have the symptoms, it's better to be, careful and not anything else. So if glucose stays low for too long, it can lead to seizures, coma, and very rarely death. It's not always dangerous if you know what you're doing and how to treat it. I know a lot of people who have it and know what to do over it. So I know a lot of people, there might be kids with it. That's because they're diagnosed with it. Basically, it's probably, I think for kids, it's a lot more rarer for kids to come down with it unless they have some type of medical condition that causes low or high blood sugar, like diabetes and much more. Even skinny people can get diabetes, but it's more rare than for the people that are, bigger than that. It's not always dangerous. Just so you know, if you know how to treat it, then it's gonna go away as soon as you treat it. So it's like, if you're someone new to it, then that's kind of where the complications could come into. So yeah, it could be very serious if you don't know what you're doing. High blood sugar, what is it? Hyperglycemia happens when there's too much sugar, glucose, in your blood. It's also called high blood sugar or high blood glucose. High blood sugar symptoms: increased thirst and a dry mouth, needing to pee frequently, tiredness, blurred vision, unintentional weight loss, recurrent infections such as thrush, bladder infections, cystitis, and skin infections. So, yeah. Skin infections can cause this too. I mean, can't cause it, but it can be caused by high blood sugar. Infections as thrush, bladder infections, all could be caused by high blood sugar and be the symptoms to look out for in case you think you have it. Always get checked by your doctor, because anytime you can basically get diagnosed with it. So blurred vision, that can be either because you need glasses or because someone whacked the frick out your mouth or something like that, just so you know. High blood sugar complications: permanent damage to parts of the body such as eyes, nerves, kidneys, and blood vessels, but it can lead if your blood glucose levels get very, very high. You can develop diabetes-related ketoacidosis, DKA. What is DKA? Not ED, whatever, DKA. And symptoms: fast, deep breathing, dry mouth, dry skin and mouth, flushed face, fruity smell breath, headache, muscle stiffness or aches, being very tired, nausea, and vomiting. What is it? This condition occurs when there's not enough insulin in the body. It can be triggered by infection or other illnesses. So this kind of reminds me of thyroid storm, which we talked about a few days back. It kind of reminds me how that happens to an infection or damage to your thyroid gland. But in this case, it's more like you get the whole thing, you know? Crap. Alright. So, DKA complications: low levels of potassium, so hypoglycemia, swelling in the brain, cerebral edema, fluid edema, fluid inside your lungs, pulmonary edema, damage to your kidney or other organs from your fluid loss. So if you have fluid loss, dehydration, that can cause damage to your kidneys because your kidneys need water to function well. Because basically, if it basically takes out all the excess water, and if you don't have any water, like if you have too much water, that can damage it. But if you have too much little water, same thing, it can also damage it. High blood sugar causes. Stress can cause it, especially if you're someone with diabetes. Stress is something you want to try to avoid and try to control because that can lead to this. An illness such as a cold can also cause, because that's it's basically your body is fighting an infection. Even though it's not one of those serious ones that can cause sepsis, it's still one that will basically kill you. No one say kill you, but it will cause your blood sugar to go up because, as it's fighting it, it causes stress to go up as well. Eating too much as a snacking between meals. So just to cut back on your, sugar intake, because with someone who has high blood sugar, you can't have sugar like normal people can that are perfectly healthy. A lack of exercise. So in order to control your blood sugar, you need to have exercise. Not too much and not too little, so just in the right amount. Dehydration can cause it, which means you're not having enough fluid, or you're losing fluid from either high fever, from fluid loss, which is sweating, vomiting, diarrhea, and all that stuff. Missing a dose of your diabetes medication or taking an incorrect dose. So either too little of a dose, too high of a dose, or not even taking a dose at all can sometimes cause this, because it's not used to not either having it or having more of it or less than it. In that case, it can cause withdrawal if you take a break from it. But I wouldn't say, I don't think it's not like there's like other drugs out there that will cause that, like the bad ones, but I think it might. Overtreating an episode of hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar. So one thing you should know is hyperglycemia is high blood sugar. Because basically when you're hyper, you're high. You're, high on energy. But when you're hypo, that means you're low. That means you're low on blood sugar. And hyper means you're high on blood sugar. High blood sugar is less dangerous than low, in my opinion, because when you think about it, it's more serious for low blood sugar, as it can cause complications in a very fast rate. And did you know that you can only pass out from low blood sugar?